Hi, my name is Victoria Vandenberg and I'm a designer with a specialization in typography. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Burlington, Ontario. I'm involved with a lot of things revolving around typography. Kind of started in graphic design. I'm the creative director of the Entrepreneurship Society at the moment. I give some design talks at conferences around, and I'm really involved with Instagram. If I was to describe typography, I would say it's the development of characters and letter forms in a way that turns something very mundane into something dynamic and abstract, and making people feel emotion through something that's as simple as a letter. A week in the life of Victoria is very busy. Definitely a night owl. I'm that person who's up crazy late. I think that's when I create my best work, so I allow myself to stay up to make that work. I'm typically at some sort of conference or meeting, hackathon or something local, or if I do something of such sorts. Some of my hobbies, kind of like a grandma in that regards, I read a lot. I read a lot of nonfiction books. I really like that you can learn anything by just literally picking up a book and making the time to read it. I think I was reading a book on banking, not my thing, but I figured it out the other week, and you learn something else as you go along. And then sketching, I always have a sketchbook with me. If you see my backpack, it probably has about 40 pens in it and a couple different sketchbooks, because inspiration can come whenever. And the whole idea with the authentic thing is you just gotta, when it comes to you, you just kind of gotta figure it out and see what comes of it. Another hobby definitely would be traveling. I love to submerge myself in different cultures and actually figure out different ways of life and norms and ideals, and putting aside the Canadian values I grew up with and allowing myself to feel something different. Being outdoors is one of my favorite things. I definitely love being outside and always up for an adventure sort of thing. So it was really cool as I started to develop my voice as a designer, that really became a part of it as well. And I think that's how I started to distinguish what authentic was to me. Like in Muskoka at my cottage, I do a lot of creation there. And I think it's during times like that that my art actually really reflects the state of happiness I am, or the serenity, and I'm able to have better creation. The first time I got into art is actually kind of interesting, because I know a lot of kids in this program are remarkable artists when they start. But it's funny because I was the business kid. I liked marketing, and I was just fully set in my ways and such sorts, and I didn't even really know Adobe had anything other than Photoshop when I started school. So I think being surrounded by such motivated and talented people really pushed me to work harder for myself. And I knew if I wanted to succeed in this program that it was going to be the after hours, okay, school's done, but what am I going to do to make myself better? As we developed into UX and UI design, I started to see, be kind of entranced by letters, and I thought they were interesting, and oh, I can do that. Oh, it's a simple structure. Okay, well, you can try this. And then I just allowed myself to progress at the pace that I was going, as opposed to try and push myself to be amazing all at once. And that's when you can actually see yourself start to develop an artistic vision and develop a skill set. Last summer, I spontaneously booked a trip to Australia. Showed up with 48 hours before starting school. Probably not my best idea, but you roll with it. And I was at this coffee shop and I was just doodling or not minding my own business, and this man started standing over my shoulder, and I was kind of confused, and he basically just said to me, wow, what you're doing is amazing. He was watching me make something. I was like, no, I'm Victoria, I'm the business kid. I don't make anything interesting, why are you watching? And he turned out to be a design professor at this university. And he said, no, you're talented, you need to stick with it. And I think once that happened, it was kind of that aha moment where it was like, okay, you can do this. There's nothing, just because you haven't been drawing since you were 4, it doesn't mean that you're at a disadvantage to everyone else. As long as you work hard and practice your craft, then you have the ability to progress. My favorite project that I've worked on so far was last summer. I did all the calligraphy for the wedding for one of my friends who I wasn't exactly close with at the time and really didn't need to take a leap of faith in me. But she did, and I think that's what made it so meaningful, is that she was willing to allow me to pursue my craft. And it was during such point that I realized that I really liked what I was doing, and that I was going to work as hard as I could to make the skill set to be able to do it whenever I wanted to. We actually had someone come into the Stratford campus, and his name was Alan Plander, and I basically just showed him my work and said, what can I do to, look at this and tell me what's wrong about it, tell me what you don't like. And then he told me everything, and I went back and I took all these ideas that kind of been mangling around and I was thinking about but never took action on, and finally everything started to come together and I created something cohesive, and that's when I created Bonafide Craft. What I like about Bonafide Craft at the moment is it's more of an ideal than a business model. So I figured out my problem and I'm still working on the solution. So for me, that would be, how do we keep meaning and authenticity in designs as we progress into a digital age of replicability and templates and so on and so forth, where you can literally make something in 30 seconds, but what is it going to mean to the person you're presenting it to? There's still that, this wasn't found on defunct.com. This was handmade from someone who thought about what you wanted in the end, and they changed things to fit that, and it's still useful on across an array of platforms. So yeah, I'd say we're going to progress. Not sure completely where, but I'm beyond excited to see where it goes. I have currently got into the world of font design, which is I'm very, very excited about. So I'm currently working on a couple different projects within there. So hold tight, within the year, I'll get back to you with a couple fonts. If you are intrigued by my design process and want to see some more, feel free to check out Bonafide Craft on Instagram.